Have you ever had one of those days where everything just clicks? You wake up, the coffee tastes perfect, and you crush every single task on your to-do list. Or maybe you've had the opposite. A day where no matter how hard you try, things just seem to fall apart. As English learners, we often get stuck using simple words like good, bad, success, or failure. But real life is much more colorful than that. If you want to sound like a native speaker, you need the right expressions to describe these specific moments. Today, we aren't just learning vocabulary, we are mastering the art of storytelling in English. By the end of this video, you will know exactly what to say when you land your dream job or when your car engine finally decides to quit. Intro. Hello everyone and welcome back. Today we are going to do a deep dive into advanced English vocabulary. I've analyzed a fascinating conversation between two coworkers, Emma and Jake, and two English experts, Sarah and Tom. They use some incredible idioms that native speakers use every single day to talk about progress, unexpected wins, and frustrating failures. Now, you might be looking for advanced English speaking practice, and that is exactly what we are doing here. We are going to take these expressions apart, look at the grammar, and give you real-life examples so you can use them immediately. We have a lot to cover, ranging from high-energy success to those moments when you become a victim of your own hard work. Let's get started. Body, Segment 1, High-Energy Beginnings. Let's set the scene. We have two coworkers, Emma and Jake. Emma notices that Jake is working incredibly hard and fast on a new project. She pays him a compliment. She says, "I swear, every time there's a new project, you hit the ground running." Let's look at that phrase, hit the ground running. This is one of my absolute favorites. It feels energetic, doesn't it? If you hit the ground running, it means you start a task or a project with a massive amount of energy, confidence, and readiness from the very first moment. There is no hesitation. There is no slow warm-up period. You are immediately active and effective. Imagine a runner in a race. Most people might stretch, jog a little, and slowly build up speed. But someone who hits the ground running explodes off the starting line. This is a fantastic phrase to use in professional settings. For example, if you are in a job interview, this is what every employer wants to hear. You might say, "I've done my research on your company, so if you hire me, I can hit the ground running on day one." It tells them you don't need a month of training. You are ready now. A quick grammar note here for you. The verb is hit. It is an irregular verb. We say hit in the present and hit in the past. We never say hitted. So, she hit the ground running yesterday and she hits the ground running today. Segment 2. The impact of small changes. Now, moving on. In our story, Jake explains why he is working so hard. He mentions a new strategy they used for a previous campaign. Things like customer feedback forms and a new color scheme. He says these small things made all the difference. This is a quietly powerful expression. Made all the difference. It doesn't shout, but it carries a lot of emotional weight. When you say something made all the difference, you mean that a specific action or change had a significant positive impact on the outcome. Maybe it didn't change the whole world, but it shifted things enough to matter deeply. It's that little nudge that turns a bad day into a good one. It fits perfectly in both personal and professional conversations. Let's paint a picture. Imagine you are studying for a difficult English exam. You've been studying for days, but nothing is sticking in your brain. You are stressed. Then a friend teaches you a simple mind mapping technique. Suddenly, you understand everything. You could say, "That study technique made all the difference." Or consider your health. Maybe you start waking up 20 minutes earlier to take a short walk. It seems small, but it changes your mood for the entire day. You would say, "That morning walk made all the difference in my mindset." Notice the structure we often use. Something made all the difference in something else. For example, your advice made all the difference in my decision. Segment 3. When things go perfectly. Let's go back to Emma and Jake. They are discussing how well that new strategy worked. Emma says, "This time, everything just worked like magic." When we say something worked like magic, we mean it solved a problem quickly, effectively, and almost effortlessly. It implies a sense of surprise and delight. It's that feeling when something clicks and the problem just vanishes. Think about a time you had a terrible sore throat. You tried medicine, you tried sleeping, but nothing helped. Then a friend tells you to drink hot water with honey and lemon. You try it, and boom, 5 minutes later, you can speak again. You would say, "Wow, that home remedy worked like magic." It implies the solution was perfect. It's a very positive, enthusiastic phrase. Now, there is a close cousin to this idiom, which is perhaps even more elegant. In the conversation, Jake mentioned that the project had no technical issues and no miscommunication. He says, "It ran like a dream." To run like a dream. This phrase feels good to say, doesn't it? When something runs like a dream, it functions flawlessly. It operates exactly as it should, with no bumps, no glitches, and no stress. We typically use this for machines or mechanical things. For example, I took my car to the mechanic and now it runs like a dream. Or, I bought a new laptop and even with 20 tabs open, it runs like a dream. But as we saw in the story with Emma and Jake, you can also use it for events or projects. If you organize a wedding and the food arrives on time, the music is perfect and the guests are happy, you can say, "The wedding ran like a dream." For those of you looking to improve your writing, this is a great phrase to use in emails to clients. Instead of saying, "The project went well," write, "The project ran like a dream." It adds confidence and warmth to your English. And just like hit, remember your verbs here. Run, ran, run. In the past tense, it ran like a dream. Now let's talk about momentum. Jake mentions that it wasn't just one project that went well. He says the whole department seems to be going from strength to strength. This is a phrase full of hope, going from strength to strength. It means something isn't just successful once, it is getting better and better over time. It suggests a pattern of continuous growth. Imagine climbing a staircase. You aren't getting tired, you are getting stronger with every step. If you are watching videos titled 50 Common English Idioms, you might see this one listed under business vocabulary, but it applies to personal growth too. Think about a small bakery opening in your neighborhood. First, they just sell bread. Then everyone loves the bread, so they hire more staff. Then they win an award. Then they open a second location. You would say, since they opened, that bakery has gone from strength to strength. Or, applying it to you, I've been watching your English progress. You started with basic words, but now you are giving presentations. You are going from strength to strength. It's a wonderful compliment to give someone. Segment 5. Practical solutions. Before we move to the darker side of success, I want to give you a short, snappy phrase that native speakers use constantly in casual conversation. In our analysis, we talked about simple solutions. Imagine you're hungry, but you don't want a full meal. You eat a banana, and suddenly you feel fine. You could say, that banana did the trick. To do the trick. This simply means it worked. It achieved the desired result. It doesn't have to be magic. It doesn't have to be a dream. It just has to function. It emphasizes effectiveness over perfection. If you have a headache and you drink a glass of water and the headache goes away, that water did the trick. If you have a broken picture frame and you don't have glue, so you use tape, it's not pretty, but the tape did the trick. It's a very humble, useful little phrase. Now let's shift gears. Life isn't always perfect. Sometimes success brings its own problems. In the conversation, Jake talks about the sales department. They were doing so well that they couldn't keep up with the orders. They were overwhelmed. Jake describes them as a victim of their own success. This is a paradox. Usually we think of victims in relation to bad things or crimes, but here the bad thing that happened was actually doing too well. A victim of your own success means your achievement has created unexpected negative consequences. You did such a good job that it caused a problem. Here's a moderate example. Imagine a small startup creates a new app. It is brilliant. Everyone downloads it on the first day, but because millions of people download it, the servers crash and nobody can use it. The creators didn't do anything wrong. They made a great product, but they became victims of their own success. Or perhaps in a classroom, you get 100% on every test. Now everyone expects you to be perfect. If you get 95%, people ask, well, what's wrong? The pressure is high because you succeeded so much. You are a victim of your own success. Finally, we need to talk about when things genuinely stop working. In the dialogue, they discuss a colleague named Dan who resigned because of burnout. They used a very old, slightly spooky idiom, give up the ghost. Historically, this phrase meant to die. But in modern, casual English, we use it metaphorically. When something gives up the ghost, it stops working. It stops trying. It breaks down completely. We mostly use this for machines. Let's say you have an old toaster. You had it for 10 years. One morning, you push the lever down and nothing. You try a different plug. Nothing. You might sigh and say, well, the toaster has finally given up the ghost. It means it is broken beyond repair. You can use it for people in a humorous or exaggerated way, like Dan in the story. If you are working on a report at 2 a.m. and you just cannot keep your eyes open, you might say, I can't do this anymore. I'm giving up the ghost for the night. It means you are ceasing your effort because you have no energy left. But let's end on a positive note regarding failure. Emma talks about a project that was canceled. At the time, she was devastated. But looking back, she realized it allowed her to focus on something better. She calls it a blessing in disguise. This is vital for a positive mindset. A blessing in disguise is something that seems bad or unlucky at first, but results in something good later. The blessing, the good thing, is disguised, hidden as a problem. For example, losing that job was a blessing in disguise. If I hadn't been fired, I never would have started my own business. Or, missing that train was a blessing in disguise because I met my future wife on the platform while waiting for the next one. It helps us see the silver lining in dark clouds. So there you have it. We have traveled from the high energy of hitting the ground running to the smooth sailing of running like a dream. We've seen how small changes can make all the difference and how sometimes we can be victims of our own success. And even when a machine gives up the ghost, it might just be a blessing in disguise because you get to buy a better one. I hope these idioms help you express the ups and downs of your life with more precision and color. If this video did the trick for you and helped you learn something new, please show your support. It really helps the channel go from strength to strength. Please hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe to English Clo for more deep dives into real English. Thank you for watching and I'll see you in the next video.